Hey everyone, welcome to my studio. If you are new here, I'm partnering with mosaic artist Jennifer Freeman on this public mosaic that measures 36 foot long by about 4 feet high. It's called the Landscape of Dunwoody, and we've broken it into 12 panels. So right now I am working on this letter D, which is the second D in Dunwoody. Let me show you. Here it is. This is panel 8 and this is panel 9. Here's the big D. Now in the Landscape of Dunwoody, the upright portion of this D is a tree trunk. And I have separated it wherever there is a horizontal line that goes across the landscape. I've separated it and I'm going to be making different colors in each one of those areas. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 areas. And over here, I have selected my palettes. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm just going to hold off on that last one because it's so small compared to the others, and I'm not sure what I'm going to put in there. I'll probably use a combination of some of these things that I've already started. So I'm going to get started with the first palette, which is this one, and it has some textured glass. It's got some real beautiful streaky colors and some different browns. So I have to move all this off my cutting station to get started, and then I'll cut some strips and get after it. Now this is quite a bumpy glass, and I want to get some strips that follow the ridges that are in there. The only way to score it is on the smoother side, and that means I kind of have to go in this direction. See how it cuts. Good. Nice. realized I forgot to separate that area out. But you know what? I think I like it like that. So I'm just gonna call it good. I'm gonna leave that area as just one section instead of splitting it right where the line cuts through. The last area of cut green pieces on this mosaic, I am using these inclusions, which are made with Oceanside, I believe it's called Amazon Green. So I'm starting with that as one of the colors that I'm going to mix in. And then this is the rest of my palette. I decided to go a little bit on the olive side because I have this beautiful olive green Bullseye glass. And then I'm mixing in some mottled and some streakies. So that's what my last swath is going to be. My last area of purple inside the D here, and I want to talk just a minute about my palette. So sort of holding most of the mosaic together and all of the palette was this true purple glass made by Bullseye, and I had to fire it in the kiln to get it to be this color. So I only purchased a little bit of it because it was quite pricey. Then I've got this beautiful blue Oceanic glass. It's cobalt blue iridized. And the reason that I've been using it is I love the modeling on it, but also because the iridized part of it is a pinkish purple. So I have a larger piece here, and I don't know if I can capture all this, but you can see some areas that are iridized are more yellow, some are green, some are blue, but I did have quite a bit that was this pinkish purple color that I think is really, really good for this project. So those are the parts that I have cut out and that I will be using. Now on some of the other swaths, I did use this top side just because I think it's such a gorgeous glass. But in this particular swath, I think I'll be using the iridized side of that. Now I have this purple glass. I only had a little bit of this. This was in my personal stock and it wasn't labeled. I'm not even sure what it was, but it is iridized and it has a nice lavender color. So the color is not as deep as this, but it's still a nice purple on both sides. And then I have this beautiful glass, which is purple, white, blue, streaky. It's a light blue streaky. And it's also iridized, but the iridized portion of it, you can see we've got some orange, just a little bit of pink, blue, and then this is sort of a, I don't know, neutral color. So the iridized part of it is not as great as this one, as far as I'm concerned, but I do like the other side of it. So for that one, I will likely be using this muted bluish purple color. Let's see, what else do I have? Oh, then I was so desperate for some true purples that I looked up glass tiles and I found these. These are called Ottoman tiles and they come in these 3 different colors. So this deep one, I can't remember the names, is sort of the closest to the Bullseye, but I do like these other two. This one's a little more violet and this one's a little bit lighter, more of a lavender. So in this particular swath, I'm going to be mixing all of them in. Now you can see that my strip is this width. This is the standard width that I've sort of been making most of my strips. And this tile is just too fat. So unfortunately, I have had to cut them down, and I have a lot of scrap waste because of that. So I've been saving these pieces. I have no idea what I'm going to do with them, but I don't want them to be wasted. So that is that. And then the last one is this gorgeous piece. Jennifer and I both agreed that this one is so pretty, it needed to be somewhere in the mosaic, and I haven't used it so far. It's got pink, it's got purple, but then it's got this crazy yellow. But I'm going to go ahead and mix it into this one just because it's so unique. And we both love it. All those colors in this section. Let me get out. Working on this area, I kept looking over at this area and I thought they were looking too much alike. Now this one I threw a lot of pinks and purples in and mixed them up, and this one was just purples mixed up, but they were just too close. So I ended up removing all of this color of tile and some of these, but not all. So here is the new color mix. It's a little bit darker and deeper purple than this one over here. So now it's distinctly different, which is what I'm going for. It's too bad on these, but I can clean that glue off because as I was working, everything was still wet. So I was able to pull it off pretty easily. And now I can just use wipes to clean up these pieces and I'll be able to use them in the future. Not on this project though, because I'm done with the purple. This purple area that I just finished has got to be, I think, one of the most beautiful areas I've done so far. And one reason is because I had such a difficult time doing it. And it's not all my fault. It had to do with what was going on around me. So we all have lives, things are always going on. But on that particular day when I was working on that purple area, we were having our home repiped. And there was a team of plumbers, and they were just moving all over, banging and cutting through pipes and cutting through walls, and there was plastic everywhere, and my dog was freaking out. And I just had to be here because someone needed to be here while they were doing it. And since I normally work while people are fixing things in my home, I thought that I could work on it, but it was so difficult to get it done with everybody doing all that stuff. I just almost gave up, but I got through it, and now I'm ready to do the pink area. It's gonna be so much better. I'm so thankful that my home is quiet, that my pipes are fixed, and that I can move forward. That's it. Next area that's coming up, it's blue, it's a piece of sky, and I'm going to use these inclusions that I've made that are fused in there, and I just need a few, but I think that they're really, really fat. So I'm trying something on my kiln shelf. Let me show you. I've cut a bunch of them in half. They are a little bit rough, but I think I do like the skinnier shape a little bit better, and I'm going to try fusing them. And then I wanted to show you this also. These are the leftover purple tiles that I have, and I have no idea if they're fusible, but I'm just gonna see if they fuse. They might devitrify, so I just put a few on there to try. And then I've got these leftover pieces that were too big and I broke, and then I put on here to fuse again. This is the broken one that I'm refusing. And I'm gonna fill up the rest of this shelf with this combination of pieces. So let me get after it. Here's the load going in. And here it is coming out. Let's take a look. Oh, look at these funny things. I don't know if I'll be able to use those. This one, I don't know. I mean, that didn't quite work. I'm gonna have to take those out. This didn't really work either. It was worth trying though. All right, the broken piece that I put back in the kiln and fused back together. You can't even tell where it broke, or at least I can't. And this is where it fits. Perfect, yay. That's very satisfying. The fused pieces turned out just a little bit too wonky. They're not regular enough. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna nip them just a little bit so that there's no points on them, and throw them back in the kiln and see if they round out a little bit and become a little bit more regular. We'll see. This is my palette for that area, and here is how far I got this week. I made it all the way up the tree trunk here on the D, and I got this purple done, which was huge, and the green and the pink. So I'll take after the rest of it next week. That's putting it together. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Here are these pieces. I ended up having such a hard time nipping them because they're just so fat. So I took them to the grinder and rounded them out a little bit. So I think fusing them will really help them to turn out great. And then I'm an amateur fuser, but I'm going to make a few ornaments here. And I have a mold that I can make a little tray with. So I'm making a little tray also as Christmas gifts. So I'm going to throw these in the kiln. I might make one more. There's room for one or two more. And see how they come out tomorrow.